Hello my dear students, today we'll learn about quadratic equation. Now when I'm saying that we'll learn about quadratic equation, so the first question arises in your mind is what is quadratic equation? So you already know that this word quadratic, you are familiar with this word quadratic. What it means? It means when the degree is 2. If you are talking about a quadratic polynomial, it should have degree 2, and if you are talking about quadratic equation, it also has degree equals to 2. So this point you have to notice down that for a quadratic equation, the degree must be 2. Now we'll see that what is a quadratic equation. So first of all, we'll go with the definition. A quadratic equation in x. Here we are taking the variable x. A quadratic equation that can be written in the form of ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0. This is a quadratic equation. Why it is a quadratic equation? Because the degree is 2. You can see this. Ax square is the highest power. The highest power of x is 2. So it will be the degree, and degree here is 2. That's why this is quadratic. And because there is a sign of equal to, whenever we have a symbol of equal to and something is in the left hand side and something is on the right hand side, then that means that is known as a quadratic equation. And because in this equation the degree is 2, so it is a quadratic equation. Now the condition apply, you should write whenever you have to tell about the quadratic equation. Along with that, you will have to clear that A, B, C here are the real numbers. They can be any real number. Real number means you all know the real numbers are the sum of irrational and rational. Numbers which are either rational or irrational, they are known as real number. So here also A, B, C are the real numbers, but point to be noted that A should not be 0. Why A should not be 0? If A will be 0, what about this first term? It becomes 0, and if it will be 0, then this equation reduces to bx plus c equals to 0. Now you can see that the degree here is 1, and it will not be a quadratic equation in that case. That's why we'll have to write here that A should not be 0. Now we'll take few examples here whether these equations are quadratic or not. So let us see the first one. First one is 3x cubed minus 4x plus 5. Is it quadratic? The answer is no. Why it is not quadratic? Can you tell me? Yes, it is not quadratic because here the degree is 3. That's why it is not quadratic. Now we'll see the second example. In second one, it is 5x square minus 4x plus 2. Now, is it quadratic? Yes, it is quadratic. Why it is quadratic? Because the highest degree is 2 here, but here should be a sign of equal to and 0. Then it is quadratic equation. Otherwise, these are the quadratic polynomial. Okay, so it is not quadratic, but it is an equation, or if I'm not writing this equal to 0, at that time it is a cubic polynomial. But if I put it equal to 0, it will be a cubic equation, and this will be a quadratic polynomial. It is a quadratic polynomial number 2, but it is not an equation now, because it is not equal to 0. If I'm putting it equal to 0, it will be a quadratic equation. But in this case, it is quadratic, yes. Now, this third one, here there is a symbol of equal to. Something is on left side, something is on right side. So yes, it is a quadratic equation and the highest degree is 2 here. We can see that easily. So that's why it is a quadratic equation. It satisfies the condition of equation as well as quadratic. Now the last one. 2x square equal to 8x minus 3. Yes, it is quadratic because the degree is 2, and yes, it is a quadratic equation because there is a symbol of equal to, right? Now we will see some more examples here, and we have to just tell them that these are quadratic or not. This is already done here, but still we'll see here. X square equal to 0, yes, because of equal to sign it is an equation, and because the power is 2, the maximum power is 2, that's why it is quadratic. So yes, it is quadratic. But here why it is not quadratic? X cube equal to 0. Here the degree is 3, that's why it is not quadratic. In second one, 3x square plus 8x minus 5 equal to 0. Yes, it is quadratic because the degree is highest degree is 2 and there is a symbol of equal to. Similarly, the third one is quadratic equation. The next one is also quadratic as the degree is 2. Next one is also quadratic, degree is 2, highest power is 2. But here in this case, it is not a quadratic equation because the highest power is 3 here. Now the next one, highest power is 1, so it is a linear equation. It's not a quadratic equation. Similarly, in this case, the highest power is 4, so it is not a quadratic equation. Last one, 4x equal to 7. 4x equal to 7, the maximum degree here, the maximum power here is 1. So that's why it doesn't satisfy the condition of quadratic equation. So it is not a quadratic equation. Now we will see that in how many ways we can solve the quadratic equation. We have 4 methods for solving the quadratic equation. Number 1 is the graphing, means you can plot the graph of quadratic equation and you can find the values of the variable there. Number 2 is the factorizing. Here the spelling is wrong, it should be Z also along with that. So factorizing is the second method, and with this method, the factorization method, you all are aware, you may call it middle term splitting method. And the next one is completing the square method, which is not in your syllabus now. The last one is quadratic formula, and this is totally a new formula for you. When we'll do this formula, you will feel like you get some weapon for doing the question so easily. So when sometime it happens you cannot apply the factorization method properly, at that time the quadratic formula will be helpful for you. So we'll do all these things in our coming module, so watch the coming videos carefully.